The story is often told of a father and his young son who were out in the yard doing some gardening when his son said, "Dad, how big is God?" The question took the father by surprise, and as he pondered on what to say, he saw a plane flying through the clouds, so he asked his son, "How big is that plane?" His son looks up and says, "That's really small. It's so small." The father takes his son into the car and drives to the airport. And as they approached, they could see through the mesh fence the jumbo jets parked on the tarmac. He then asks his son, "How big is that plane?" And the boy exclaims, "Wow, it's so big. It's really big." The father then explains to him that when you get closer to it, it seems bigger. He went on to say, the closer you are to God, the bigger and greater God seems to you. The farther you are away from Him, the smaller He is to you. You then doubt what He can do for you. You question His capabilities because you are far from Him. We live in troubled times, and the natural thing for most to do is focus on their problems. As you focus on your problems, it seems bigger and bigger to you. Your problems seem to overshadow you. In some cases, a few decide they would rather take their lives than face their problems. These problems are now a giant roommate that dominates our focus. We can no longer see or remember God. We seem to think that our problems are bigger than God. Even when we are in church praying, all we can see is the problems around us. How do I pay this rent? The kids have been told not to come to school till they pay their fees. How do I pay for this car? The doctor said the cancer is spreading. I can keep on listing different problems that dominate our thoughts day and night. The truth is that you can only see or think problems when you are far from God. You see what's before you. As long as you see God far in the sky, you will see your problems magnified. But when you drive to the airport, when you get close to that jumbo jet, when you enter into His presence, you will see that nothing comes close to God. You will see that your problems, your addictions, your needs, your inadequacies, your giants are all Lilliputian before God. I will take this boy's story further today. Imagine how awed he was at the bigness of the plane. Then now imagine how awed he will be when he gets into that plane. God has not called us to admire Him from the outside. He wants you to get inside that plane. When you consider trekking from Lagos to Kano, it seems like an impossibility. But when you get into that plane, you know you can go anywhere with ease. The journey of life seems impossible, but when you abide in God, then it's possible to overcome the obstacles life will throw at you. I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine, no more can ye, except ye abide in me. I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me you can do nothing. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch, and is withered. And men gather them and cast them into the fire, and they are burned. If ye abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you. This is the secret to overcoming. Abide in Him. Get into that plane. It's not enough to get to the airport and see how big the plane is. It's not enough to go to church and understand how big God is. You have got to get into that plane. You have got to abide in Him. His words have to abide in you. You have to become one with Him. As I close, I want you to ponder on this. When you enter that plane, there are economy seats. premium economy seats, business class seats, and first class seats. Everyone in that plane is headed to the same destination, but their traveling experience is different. Those in economy have smaller seats, small leg room, and the food service isn't that great. But as you move up in the plane, closer to the pilot, you find that the seats are bigger. There's more leg room. You are in a cabin all by yourself. The service is luxurious. You don't feel the effects of the journey because all you see and experience is the first class service. The closer you get to God, the more luxurious the experience is. Bumps may come, but your chair is wide and comfy enough to absorb it. The journey might be long, but you can eat on demand. If you need to sleep, they will convert your seat into a bed and tuck you in. This is first class. The closer you are to God, the more you experience the first class service of heaven and earth. Think about it carefully. You can choose to focus on your problems and see God as that small plane in the sky. You can draw close to God and see that He's indeed bigger than your problems. You can enter that plane and abide in Him and see that getting from Lagos to Kano is not an impossibility. You can draw closer to Him every day and experience the first class service of heaven and earth. The choice is yours. God bless you all. Have a blessed week.